As real estate entrepreneurs, we're doing more than just buying properties and chasing cash flow. We're actively building businesses. And one of the key elements of building a successful business is your ability to sell. Throughout my years as an IT executive at large companies, both public and private, I've had to sell multi-million dollar projects to C-level executives. And to do this, I learned and applied techniques from the sales masters like Brian Tracy, Cardone, and Zig Ziglar. The key thread among all of them was that you had to identify and understand the need of the customer, or in our case, a seller. So here are the four things you must do to sell intelligently. Okay, so number one, discover and fulfill a need. When approaching a customer or a seller, we need to see things from their point of view and take the time to understand their pain point. If you don't take the time to really understand their need, they will not care about the wonderful features your solution has. If you are pitching, say, a land contract idea to someone that is looking for cash, it won't really matter to them. The customer or seller wants to know that you're going to solve their problem and whether you can deliver on that promise. If you are working on getting a $5 million building and they want to know that how fast you can close and if you can actually pull it off. So for this, people rely on social proof. And the thing is, depending on the amount of pain they have, your social proof and your time to close may actually be more valuable than the building. But again, it all depends on taking the time to understand what it is that they need. Number two, get creative to solve a problem. Once you understand their issue, you can determine how to build a win-win scenario. The best transactions are those where both the buyer and the seller, they come out of it happy. And it's also important that when you're building a reputation in the marketplace too. Again, this involves listening to their needs and coming up with a solution. For example, if a seller is looking to move from Ohio to Orlando, and they just and you just happen to have a condo out there that you're thinking of selling anyway, this could be a good opportunity to include it as part of the sale, and allowing you to save on taxes and reducing the overall price saves taxes for everyone. It's a win-win. Keep your eyes and ears open and look for ways to handle a problem that the customer might have. Number three, build your social proof and make sure to check up on theirs. This is probably one of the most important ones and one of the ones that new people struggle with. It's social proof. Many entrepreneurs often forget this one too. To help you build social proof, prepare some materials in advance, like scripts, speaking to your social proof, maybe letters as well from other buyers or sellers that you've worked with in the past, and even a presentation that you can show that you actually have a team lined up, like your credibility book. At the same time, you need to evaluate the seller and their ability to deliver on their side. Will they be a pain to deal with? What do other people in the marketplace say about them? Do they have a bad reputation with vendors or property managers? Take the time to understand who you are buying from. And number four, sell intelligently. When you are looking at the problem from the seller's point of view, you need to find out what's important to them. This means asking relevant questions to the problem rather than discussing the weather or some baseball game. The most important leading question to ask is, what problem are you facing today? From there, you can ask them, what's keeping you up at night? Who's handling whatever the problem is today? If you could do anything, what would you change? The questions like that, probing questions, will give you more information as to what the problems are. And then by opening up about their problems and their needs, you will not only gather information about what's important to them, but also allow you to showcase that you're genuine and you want to support them and help them through whatever the problem is. And you can position yourself as a person to help resolve their issue. When you're positioning yourself as someone that can solve their problem, you need to touch on the points that was said to them. Now, it's very, very important that you do that. It's because rather than telling them how great you are, you're going to tell them about how you can solve their problem. Again, you have to look at it from their point of view, right? If it sounds like you're concerned more about how great you are and how you're able to do great things on your own rather than solving a problem that they're facing, they won't buy from you. Your job is to listen, ask questions, repeat back the problem along with your solution to execute. For example, I had a lady that was selling an 84 unit deal in Cleveland. She needed to close in 3 weeks and move to Florida. So we asked her, why do you need to move? Why 3 weeks? It seems like an awful tight timeline to sell 84 units. And why is this important to you? You see, the seller thought she had it sold, and the buyer bailed. They just broke the contract. So she had to move to Florida to be with her husband, who was very, very sick, and she would need $1 million in cash to close in a deal down there. So we worked with the bank to come up with a proposal where we would bring $1 million of cash to the table, and she would carry back a large portion of the remainder of the deal, right? So there are other protections built into the deal, but you get the point. We came up with a solution that would help both us and the seller. And this was a very focused structure, and it was a win-win for both of us. So it's better to respond directly to what the seller stated is important rather than giving them something that they can't execute or use. When we're thinking about how to approach a seller or a customer, we need to thoroughly understand their point of view, understand their pain points, and gain clarity on the problem. When you need to ask a ton of questions as well. You need to gather information, uncover what's important, and propose a solution and position yourself using the language that they spoke to you with. That's important as well. This helps anchor your point to their actual issue. And remember, they don't care about your features. They care about the problem that they have that you're going to solve for them. And they will determine how well you will deliver on that using social proof. And from there, you can get creative to resolve their need. Anyway, so what do you guys think? How do you guys keep your sales chops sharp? Please let me know in the comments. Leave a comment, let me know. And if you like this, please go ahead and share. Thank you very much, guys.